Welcome inside my home where I never film motorcycle videos. I sure wish I can get a motorcycle in here. I would start filming them in here. But it's going to go in line of what we're going to be talking about today, being the Rabaconda tire changer. And please stick through this intro before we actually get changing the tire, because there's a few points I want to make that really go in line with how I'm going to cover this, because there's tons of coverage of this product online. Great coverage, very helpful coverage that you should check out for sure. But I'm going to go about this raw. You all know I don't script a single one of my videos. I press record and I start talking, and that's how I'm going to go about this. Now, I did already change out one tire on my 2024 Africa Twin. We're going with the AX41, so that's what we're going to be changing today, is the front tire. I have the Adventure Sport, so we're going with the 19-inch front wheel. I did change the rear one already just so I didn't look like a fool out here, and I kind of knew what I was doing, just to give it, again, a fair shake, right? The other point I want to make is about the 2024 Africa Twin, where I think something like this is really going to be beneficial, or heck, even your riding style, right? But me, with the 2024 Africa Twin Adventure Sport being more of a touring bike, I do want to play around on a little bit of dirt, you know, basic fire roads and stuff. And these stock tires, as good as they are on the road, they're phenomenal for touring. They are horrible off-road. I need something with a little bit more bite, and the AX41s are phenomenal for that. We'll do a standalone review on these, even though I covered them many times before. I will do a standalone review on these on a 2024 Africa Twin Adventure Sport, so subscribe, hit the bell for that as well. But anyways, again, I wanted to be able to swap over to something a little more dirt worthy to give me a little bit more bite out there. But I'm still going to use my Africa Twin for touring, and I want to be able to swap those tires back and forth easily if I want, hence the reason for the Rabaconda here. And you all know I love trying different tires, so again, being able to swap them easily myself, number one, the convenience, but saving money. If you go to a dealer, at least for me, you're spending at least minimum $100 just to get your tires changed. That adds up really quick. And I know a lot of you are saying, yo, this Rabaconda is not cheap. It's upwards around $600, which, yeah, that's a little bit pricey. But you think about it, that's straight up 6 tire changes. If you got multiple bikes, or if you're like me, you like trying different tires or swapping to more of a touring to an off-road, it's going to pay for itself. Now, another really important point I want to make here that really goes in line with my coverage of this is my skill level, right? My experience. I've changed a lot of motorcycle tires before with the Nomar tire changer. A lot of you have probably heard about that one as well. Whenever you go to events, they got Rabaconda, Nomar tire changer, their setups there. And I used that Nomar for about 2 years probably. And it was very helpful, but it was still extremely hard and annoying. Hence the reason I've removed it and sold it, even though I still got the 4 bolts sticking out in my garage. But anyways, as far as that Nomar tire changer, as helpful as it was, again, me telling you that I've removed it and sold it, it just wasn't that helpful. It became a pretty massive pain. A lot of the parts started bending and breaking and stuff if you get in there. It just, again, didn't really save me much time or a headache. Hence the reason I parted with it and started paying for my tires to be changed again. Hopefully this makes it a lot easier. And yes, we will also be balancing our tires as well with the new Rabaconda tire balancer, which I already did that rear one. And I used to balance my tires previously as well. So I got a couple of tips and tricks I'll be able to share with you there also. Fairly easy. And again, this is a pretty solid unit, which we'll talk about after we get this tire swapped on here. Now, as far as everything you're going to get in your kit, you get a little bag to store everything, which everything breaks down. You can carry it in that bag. This is for the changer. This one over here is for the balancer. And you get the adapters as well. For like a smaller tire, you get your rim lock down there, which since we have spoked wheels, we're going to be using this strap, which I'll show you here in a second. You get a dead center lock, which is going to hold that tire in, which, trust me, these are incredibly helpful. This is what I forgot to use when I was changing that other one. We'll talk about that when we install it. You got all these other adapters here for your rim size. You got the duck head, which you've probably seen in a lot of videos. They call these duck heads. And if you look at it like this, hopefully you can see, you got that duck head right there with this beak up at the front. This is for a regular tire. This one over here is for the spoke tires, like on the Africa Twin, anything like GS or something like that. It just bites down further into the rim. So you're definitely going to need this accessory here. And then, of course, your manuals, as I showed you. All right, so let's go on and get into changing this tire. And the first thing we're going to want to do is break the bead, which we're going to have up here, and I'll show you. But I want to show you these little bits down here, which are really attached super nice. There's these little magnetic deals. You can see those big magnets on the bottom. Slap it down there, and pending your rim size, you're going to want those magnets, that plastic, touching right there. And what it does is kind of hold that rim there so it's not bouncing in and out and wobbling down on you. And then of course, your tire is gonna slide right onto this. If you got the smaller one, you can use those adapters I just showed you there. So anyways, just take your tire. We're gonna sit it on right into there. Make sure our magnets, so this one's down on the tire, we'll bounce that down just a little bit right there. And it's resting on that. And as it's going on that plastic, you can see we can move it fairly easy. Now this isn't necessary, but what I like doing is just getting a little soapy water around it. It's just gonna make everything just kind of move a little bit easier. And we'll also do that on the opposite side. But anyways, getting our handle here, this is the bead breaker bit, which you can see it's plastic down there, so it's not gonna scratch your wheels, which you can also adjust it up here from your size, and then also down there up and down. So if you got a different size wheel, it's gonna fit on there pretty easily. Wait, you know what? I totally forgot to remove the air from my tire. Let me backtrack. So I'm noticing here on my front wheel, which is 19 compared to the 18, is I got a little bit of gap right there. So I'm probably gonna wanna bring it down a little bit closer to the rim. Oh, we're hitting that, so let me get that back. Slide that down till it touches right there. Tighten it back up. And now we should be golden. You can just hear it popping off there. Oh yeah, now we're good. Perfect. We're gonna flip over our tire here, get to the other side, and then we'll also break the bead over here. Just putting this on just to make everything move a little bit easier and not kind of stick on and catch. So press that down. There we go. I definitely probably should not have got my soapy water down here where I'm putting my foot, because now that's slippery. So that was step one of changing a tire, breaking your bead. And once you hear that pop, you're pretty much good to go. And you probably heard me huffing a little bit in the background. And yes, it's not gonna change the tire for you. I still had to put a little bit of muscle into it. I'm not a big guy. I weigh 180 pounds. I don't go to the gym or anything like that, which I probably should. But again, I'm just the average Joe. So yes, I still did have to put a little bit of muscle into the background there, but nothing extensive by any means. Now on to step two, which is gonna be removing the tire. And the first thing you're gonna do if you're using an adventure bike with spoked wheels is you're gonna wanna lock the spoke into place. If you have cast wheels, you can actually take this cool little tool, slide it down into there, and it will lock it in. But you're not gonna wanna use this on spoked wheels, again, putting the pressure here on the middle of your spoke. What this is gonna do, the strap is actually going to just grip right onto the bottom. So we're gonna take this strap, go right down here on one of the spokes on the back side. We'll go underneath the foot up here, pull it around, latch it down the back here. And what this is going to do is going to actually grip onto that spoke down on the bottom there, as you can see. Don't put it on one of the spokes on the outside, on the inside. It's just going to hold it down on that bottom where it's real tight, prevent any of that flex. And if we were to use the other bit, you'd be up here towards the middle and you'd probably bend a spoke. So now that we got our wheel locked down with the strap, you're gonna have a little bit of give right there, but don't worry, it's perfectly fine. But now we're gonna go and get our ratcheting system with the duck head built for spokes here. Slide it right on here, and it's gonna adjust up, and you're gonna push that tire in a little bit, and it's gonna lock right down along that rim. Now I will tell you, on the Africa Twin, it goes down and kind of hits the inside here, and I have a little bit of gap right there. So the duck head's not pressing right on the rim. Not sure if that's proper or not, but again, with the Africa Twin, it does sit up there a little bit. So that makes me a little bit worried, like a little bit pressure there. Will it break that duck head because it's not sitting perfectly on the rim? Now what we want to do is go on and get our bead breaker tool, unhinge it from the top there. As you see, it locks right in. So that's not going to be up there anymore. I'm just going to put it in here before we actually lock the tire in. And I'm going to pull the duck head down towards the bottom here, and it's just going to slide right through. Now you can see we have the duck head right on the bottom. And then we go on and get our tire iron that comes with it, and it has this little sleeve. As you see, you got that little bite there, and then a nice hook over here. Tuck it in there. You really don't need it for this bit as far as it being plastic, because we're going to go right through the duck head here. I'm going to try to get a bite on the tire, and this is honestly probably the hardest part of the entire process, is coming down here, getting on to the tire. And as you can see, it likes to slide around a little bit. So I'm going to step on it, try to hold that in place, and then pull the tire up over it, right like, oh, no, so it moved on us. Okay, let's get that back over, pull this up, and that's, you can see the duck head, it's not trying to budge right there for me, but that's the deal with it on the Africa Twin, as the duck head tries to bend a bit because it doesn't fit perfectly on the Africa Twin. But we're going to go with what we have here, even though it should be a little bit further out. I don't know. Should I adjust that? I think, yes, I probably should. So let's go on in here, pull it out, the tire a little bit more. Oh, see, this is probably the one thing that drives me nuts about this, is how this bit continuously moves. There we go. Now we got it over. So now you can see the tire is right over the duck head. But that's probably the biggest pain of this, is whenever you're pulling that over, is this still tends to move. If you had another hand here and they can get up here, actually hold this in position, it'd be a lot easier. But again, pulling that tire over, you still got to get that bite there. But now for the exciting part, actually removing this tire. And wait till you see how easy this is. Hopefully it goes smoothly. So I'm just going to take this little crank bit, press it down. You usually always want to stand on the actual machine here. The tire iron just popped out itself. That means you're pretty much smooth going here. So I'm just cranking, barely putting any muscle into this at all whatsoever. And look at that. So we're going to take this bit out here. We have our duck head inside. And this is, again, the one part I don't like is using this. So we got to go back in here, get a bite on the inside of the tire. So let me flip that around. Get a bite on the inside of the tire. There goes that duck head trying to move around again. Bam, and we're locked in. Again, let's pull this. Get my tool. Crank it up here. Like, all I can do this sitting down here. Tire iron just moved. No scratches or anything. Bounced right off. Oh my gosh, that is just insane how easy that was. But now we got the part that's a little bit tougher, is getting the tire on. I say tougher, but it's still shockingly easy. Now for the mounting process, there are a couple things that you need to do. Like, don't be a cheapskate and miss out on these steps. Number one, use your dead center locks right here, which is going to keep that wheel locked into the middle of the rim. You think dead center is like, okay, should my wheel be dead center here? No, what it's going to do is keep those beads down in the middle instead of locking into place, making the tire fit a whole lot better. I didn't use these mounting that first one, and oh my gosh, what a nightmare. It almost ruined the entire process for me. So trust me and use these no matter what kind of tire. It just makes it that much easier. Secondly is tire lube. And what I used at first was this mounting spray from Yamaha. I read a lot of good reviews on it. I said, okay, that'll be nice. It won't be as messy. Let me go and use it on there. But it just becomes sticky rather than slippery. So I went ahead and picked up some actual tire mounting lube. This was from my local auto store. Pretty nice. Rabaconda sells their own as well. But trust you me and get some tire lube. Oh my goodness. This is game changing when mounting tires. Trust me. Trust me. Make sure to get tire lube. So what I'm going to do is lube up my tires down here before I put them on a rack. Now you can do this either way you want, and you know, be generous with this, because trust me, it just makes it so much easier. I could definitely use one of the brushes, but I'm just going to spread it out here a little bit more even. But again, one of the brushes definitely help out much better, which I don't have, hence the reason I'm using some packaging materials here. Try not to get too much on the inside there, but again, not a game breaker if you do get some in there. So anyways, now they got these lubed up, make sure we get our tire mounted onto the rim in the right position. And for the Africa Twin, the ABS is on the left side of the brake, and your valve stem has always come out to the right side. So you always know your wheel is going that way. Pretty easy. Again, your bike will be different, and then your tires will always have an arrow on it. Now I can't see it through all the lube I put on. There we go. There's the arrow right there. So perfectly, just like so. And this is one of the parts I actually messed up on the first time. So let me go on and do this before I mess up again. I'm going to get that duck head back on it. Let me lean this against the tripod. Sorry for any camera shake, but this is something I messed up the first time. I want to get that right down there onto the wheel. I didn't put this on. I actually went straight for the tire because I was like, all right, I know this step, slapped it on, and then I could not get the duck head on. So anyways, now that they got that on, let's go and get the wheel over, and we got that lube on there, so we should be able to do a lot of this with our hands here, just sliding it on. Okay, so we got a little bit of bite on the bottom, so we're going to want to actually get our tool and crank some of this on with a tool here. Let's go like so, right down, and now it's on. Usually you can really snap that on by itself right there, but we had a little bit of bite on this smaller tire. So we're gonna pull this back up here. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is get the tire over the duck head right there. Oh, slide in there. Okay, so it's trying to pop out. I got a super slippery here. Duck head is super slippery as well. But I'm gonna pop the tire right over that there. And this is, son of a gun. Stay on. Oh, let me see if I can pop it over with my hand. Oh, okay, it's super slippery. Make sure we're in drop dead center. I'm gonna get the tire iron here. Pop that up. So, and then, there we go, perfect. I'm gonna get some of these drop dead center bits and put it right there to give us that helping hand. A little bit of muscle can never hurt. Phew. All right, it does not want to stay there with this smaller tire. All right, so we're probably gonna have to hold our hand right there as that's constantly trying to pop out on us. Get this little bit, lock it in. Well, son of a gun, these are not wanting to stay. So we're gonna go without it here and see if we can get it. Okay, now you see it starting to pull up over there. That's when we're definitely going to want our drop dead center so it doesn't pop out of there. And again, the tire iron is very helpful to get these bad boys to lock in place. Hopefully they stay. But again, with these smaller wheels, it's a little tougher. Let me get the one I just threw over here. Again, you still get a little bit angry with these things. Where should I put this one? Let's put it over here. Since that's where we're starting to pop out a little bit. Lock that in. There we go. And you'll see these will actually pop out themselves as well. So let's go on and crank that down. And I'm going to hold that last one. Stand on here. Let me point something out before I go any further. Do you guys notice how I said stand right here? Oh, there goes that drop dead center. I told you those things pop out. But anyways, you notice it kind of shift like this. I wish they had a long foot that's in the front, in the back as well, just to balance it out a little bit better. And I can really get a grab here and here and really hold it in place. So anyways, let me hold this drop dead center bit. Hopefully it doesn't pop out on us. Here we go. Stay right there. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Our tire is mounted. Now that we have our tire mounted up, aired up, good to go, we're gonna go ahead and balance these. And I think a lot of people kind of skip out on the balancing if they change out their own tires, and you can just kind of see some of those tires wobbling out there, right? So anyways, we're gonna use the new Rabaconda tire balancer, which again, I've used the ones off Amazon, Harbor Freight, all those basic cheap ones before. The really cool thing about this, well, you get this little carry bag because it all breaks down as portable. But it also comes with this wall mount, which I haven't used, but you can mount it up there. Again, take the tire changer, put it whichever way you want, set it down like that, and then this will actually sit on the top, and you can mount your tire that way. Super cool if you got a nice shop or a travel trailer that you can actually mount it up there. But again, we're doing this inside my house. Now, I want to show you one other thing that's super cool compared to, again, some of the basic cheap ones, is this little bit right here. Is you can actually mount it onto that pole and then adjust the thing that locks into the wheel here to get that nice, secure, tight fit so you get a proper balance. That's really cool. Now that we got our wheel fitted on the balancer, if you've ever balanced a wheel before, pretty much same process here. I'm just gonna go on and spin it, go grab me a drink, come back whenever it stops spinning, and then we'll balance it. Now that our wheel has stopped, and we know our heaviest point is right down there in the middle, we're gonna get a piece of tape, tape it right down there just so we got that marker. We're gonna bring it up to the top, let it sit here and see which way it spins, and that's gonna let us know where we need to put weights. So we can see it's just going slightly to the left, if any at all. It's actually not that bad right now. So let's go on and let that go. We'll see how fast. It's going pretty slow, so it's not too bad. And again, if it goes faster or slower, you'll know if you need heavier or lighter weights. What I do is just buy the simple pack off Amazon so we can see it's going down like that. So we're going to need some weights over on this side. We're going to slap these right in the middle. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm getting an absolute mild amount of movement, but that's pretty good there. I'm pretty happy with that. So there we go. We have both of our tires mounted and balanced with the help of the Rabaconda Balancer and their tire changer. And let me give you a couple pieces of advice here real quick. Number one, use the manuals if you've never changed a tire before. Again, I've done quite a few, but even with this new contraption, the manuals are fairly helpful. But again, there's tons of videos out there as well, which are helpful as well. And I did watch some of those. The other thing that I can't say enough is make sure you get this. Now, they sell on Rabacondas. Theirs is a little bit smaller too. You can go to your auto store or whatever and buy this big old jug. It's like 25 bucks. This is going to last me a lifetime here. I'll never go through all this, you know. So again, trust me and get the lube. Do not change your tires without it. And watch tons of the videos. They are very helpful. What I wanted to do here was, again, give you that raw. This is my second time changing a tire. So yeah, I still got to find some techniques. This is not going to change the tires for you. I think the Rabaconda dedicated videos make it look extremely easy. Heck, this is their invention. They're marketing right. They go off and just do it super easy. You know, and a lot of the other people, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not anything like that, right? I have changed tires. And again, this was my second tire change. So I wanted to show you that raw experience of my second time using it. And it was still incredibly easy. Again, I already learned a technique from my first one to my second one. I can just imagine how easy it's going to get over time. It's just done and easy. It honestly takes longer to balance the tire than it does to change the tire, which is just crazy to say, you know? So again, it is still a job, but it's a very easy job. And for the Africa Twin, or if you're a rider like me that does some off-roading, does some on-roading, this is a simple no-brainer. Like, honestly, I know it sounds like marketing, right? But it's not. Like using the Nomar before, which got so annoying, I sold it. I got rid of it. This is so incredibly easy. I just want to go off and buy a bunch of tires and just swap them and change them and try them out, you know? That's how easy it is. So yes, expensive, but heck, I just saved $100 right there. So we can look at it, okay, now it's down to 500 or 400 and some change. And it's going to constantly just pay for itself. So anyways, thank you so much for coming by for this video. I hope it was helpful one way or another. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. Do you have one? Have you used one? And what you think about it as well. But again, thank you so much for coming by for this. Hope it was helpful. If it was, please hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye now.